2001 was the dawn of a new millennium, but for me, it was a year without hope. My husband was nearing the end of a 3.5-year battle with multiple myeloma, an incurable blood disease. He had tried every treatment and medication available. We prayed and prayed for God to heal him. But by the beginning of December 2000, I found myself driving him every day to the hospital for radiation treatments to try to kill the nerve pain in his bones. 2 of his bones spontaneously fractured, and he was no longer able to walk. We decided to call hospice. I desperately wanted to have a peaceful Christmas at home with my husband and his 3 adult children. But Christmas week, my oven died, the dryer quit, the furnace was on the fritz, and I noticed a roof leak. We didn't have the money to fix those things. My husband and I were both self-employed, and he'd quit working a year before, and I was focused on managing his care. Fortunately, family members brought us Christmas dinner from the grocery store, so we were able to enjoy a peaceful day. As I hung up the calendar for 2001, I began an hour-by-hour, day after day, week after week journey just trying to keep ahead of his pain. I had no family near me, and although his mother and sisters came to help out, they often disagreed on how to manage his care. At this point, he was on so much pain medication that he was rarely conscious. His church friends believed that if he just had enough faith, if he just prayed hard enough, that God would physically heal him. And when that didn't happen, they were looking for other answers. So they came over, they prayed, they shouted, they banged on the windows, they cast out demons. And I felt like I was just losing control of everything, and I just wanted to shut it all out. My husband died in March that year, and his family shut me out. They actually insisted that I divide up his ashes so that they could have their own private funeral and bury him somewhere. His children were overcome with grief. The oldest daughter had been battling substance abuse for years, and now it seemed that no amount of rehab could dig her out of that hole. The middle daughter discovered she was pregnant, and we hastily put together a wedding for that August. In September, the World Trade Towers came crashing down, and the whole country was thrown into fear and anxiety. I thought I was almost out of that dreadful year when on December 29th, my stepson was shot and paralyzed in a robbery attempt. He spent 9 months in the hospital and rehab. I found myself shaking my fist at God. What are you doing to me down here? You're crushing me. I was grieving. I was angry. I was alone. I was broken. My well was bone dry. Then I heard this still small voice saying, "Child, don't you know that the idea that you can control your life or its circumstances is just fantasy? Trust me." Well, I thought about that. I grew up in the church and I knew about God, but I really didn't know God. And I certainly didn't know how much Jesus loved me. Well, as I began to study the Word and pray, God opened my eyes to the notion that His thoughts were so much bigger than my thoughts, and His ways were unbelievably better than mine. And as I surrendered my will, little by little, to Him, He started to bring blessings upon me. He sent a friend of mine over to fix that furnace. He led me to a job teaching art at a university, and 21 years later, I'm still teaching there. I was able to drag that children's book I'd been working on out of the cupboard and finish it, and I went on to write and illustrate more nature books for kids and even a biography. 6 years after my first husband died, God literally hand-delivered a wonderful Christian man, and Paul and I have been married for almost 17 years now. This is a true redemption story. What happened to my stepchildren? The oldest one has been clean and sober for over 10 years. She got her nursing degree and is working in a large hospital. The second daughter has 3 lovely children and is teaching at Liberty University. My stepson in 2019 gave his life to the Lord, and now he's active in the youth ministries of his church. And God wasn't done with me either. In 2020, He called me into a ministry of helping ordinary Christians, just like me, of all ages, all around the world, share our faith stories, share why we love Jesus. For I know the plans I have for you, declares the Lord. Plans to prosper you and not to harm you. Plans to give you hope and a future. Well, my hope and my future rest with the Lord Jesus Christ.